Hi, you're here with Sarah. This is a space where I ask thoughtful questions to people from all walks of life and explore different perspectives on health, life, and human experience. Today I'm joined by two guests with different backgrounds. One is named Abe, a retired doctor and currently living a nomadic lifestyle, and the other is Tim, a young retiree and world traveler. I'm excited to hear both of their perspectives and see where the conversation takes us. Diving in, my first question is, what do you think people today misunderstand most about living a healthy life?
You could take that answer in 5 different ways because I'm not a huge fan of the word healthy anymore. So what could you misunderstand about healthy? Well, I think a lot of the medical industry is part to blame for it, but I think humans not being accountable for their own actions is probably the biggest part of it. And so the biggest understanding I think people have about health is what it takes to be healthy. It doesn't take a lot of exercise. It doesn't take a lot of anything past your daily movement. But I think to be healthy, that people don't understand is it comes from the food first.
Comes from what?
The food first. And without addressing someone's diet, it seems a little misguiding to allow someone to introduce a foreign substance into their body without them knowing the repercussions of it, versus looking at what eating real food would do to their body first. And so I think,
Can you define real food versus?
Real food comes from the earth, grown free from pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, synthetic chemicals. I would say that's real food.
Processing?
Absolute minimal processing. So if my grandma takes some tomatoes and smashes them in a pot, you would call that process, and I would call that freaking delicious. So yeah, that'd be processed a little bit, but minimally processed without any added funky stuff. Yeah, that's real food. Damn, now I'm hungry. Do we get snacks during this?
If you want. What about you, Abe?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But I would also say we internalize a lot of stress that's harmful and not so healthy. So if you try to get back to nature whenever possible and take time to relax and enjoy a natural setting, if you avoid toxic input like violent movies and violent thoughts, if possible. At least, I mean, you're going to have them, and things are going to make you sad and make you angry, and you have to recognize those thoughts and feelings, but then let them go, not hold on to them, not dwell on them.
What you watch, what you hear, what you see, who you're around. That's you can stay really, really sick eating the most perfect diet around in the world if you're in a real toxic environment. That food ain't gonna make a damn bit of difference because what you're thinking in your head, that's the chemical makeup and chemistry of your body. So no matter how much pure ingredients you put in there, yeah, that's a recipe for a disaster. That's amazing point.
Very nice. I can already hear the two different perspectives. My next question is, how do you think food actually affects long term health compared to genetics or medicine?
This is a hard one. from taking it from my personal perspective and my personal stance, my whole life I've been told all oils are created equally. All oil is equal. Maybe in my 20s, everyone starts promoting extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed, avocado oil. This is the new sensation. It has a higher temperature point. So I think we have a lot of misunderstanding about the long-term effects of food, because when we eat something that doesn't immediately cause us the laundry list of issues, flatulence to diarrhea to inflammation to whatever could be a side effect of eating some food, if we don't feel it right away, we ignore it. So we would say olive oil is healthy because when I eat olive oil, I don't feel tired, I don't feel drained. It maybe picks up my mood. It tastes delicious, so it sets off neurons in my brain that reminds me of something delicious that I ate. But because we don't have a strong core of healthy people in the world, you don't really get fact-based, evident clinical trials to test what happens if we were to put, 5,000 people in a room and be like, oh, you guys can't eat this. Well, you'd have mass panic and riots. And so because we don't have the ability to research the long-term health effects, comparing genetics and medicine, I would say, I don't know. I'm not educated enough in this, but I can tell you that if the food that you're eating isn't taking your energy, if it's not making you tired, if it's not requiring for you to take a nap, maybe this is actually food that's genetically beneficial for you because your body responds well. But I would leave it to a doctor to answer the long-term of health effects in comparing genetics and medicine.
Well, it's a complex question, asking for a lot of different factors, and it's pretty hard to sort things out. You have to really simplify things, but I would say food is extremely important. And if we could avoid pesticides and harmful things in our food, we'd be healthier and feel better and live longer. And then you bring in genetics, and probably depending on our genetics, it might influence which foods are more harmful to us compared to the general population.
Hell yeah.
So if oils are oxidized and they increase inflammation generally, they might be bad for all of us. But if I inherited a liver gene that tends to run a dangerously high cholesterol and unfavorable lipid panel, they might be especially dangerous for me. So there's an interplay. It's kind of complicated. I don't know if we understand it totally. Certainly they're all factors. Certainly in general, by having a healthier diet, it's probably not going to be harmful or have side effect. Whereas a lot of medications, can have interactions and side effects. The problem is we're all creatures of habit, and people don't want to change their dietary habits.
Yeah.
So what can they do? They resort to medication. They don't have a choice.
100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a powerful way of looking at things.